Christian Novels Audiobooks, the story of Wayne and Jean Vozzolo, the Cross Penny series, Kisses of Mercy, episode 123. "Hey, Woody, will you still come to see me down at Sunny Hills?" Travis asked as he took a sip of his soda. "Man, that's a couple hours closer. I may even get to see you more often," Woody answered. "So, Mark, what do you do?" Travis asked as the group regathered around a picnic table. "I work at a place called Vozzolo Produce. Currently, I'm supposed to be working with my mom setting up a dried produce packing facility when I'm not playing hooky," Mark answered, laughing. "Vozzolo Produce, huh?" Woody asked. "Yep, Vozzolo Produce. Speaking of that, Gwen, you need to fill out Travis's application soon so we can get back," Mark reminded her. "Your mom does dried produce?" Woody asked. "Well, she's got a great recipe for dried soup, and Vozzolo Produce is going to use her recipe. Wow, it's delicious, especially when you add some of her hot buttered cornbread to go along with it." Mark said as he finished his chips. "Gang, like I said earlier, I have some business down that direction. I could follow you down there and check out the nursing home for you in the morning, Travis, and still make my 1:30 appointment tomorrow afternoon," Woody offered. Gwen laughed and asked, "Where are you planning on spending the night down there?" "Motel or hotel," Woody answered with a question. "Well, that's none of that there, but you're welcome to sleep in the camper on the back of our truck. The sheets are clean," Mark said as he wiped his face and finished his soda. "Shake on it." Woody struck out his hand and Mark shook it. "Oh, Woody, we will be stopping ever so often, particularly after these sodas," Mark warned. "I'll stop when you stop. Do you think you could talk your mama into making some of that soup and cornbread for supper?" Woody asked. "I don't see why not if I call her now." Mark leaned over and gently kissed Gwen on her cheek. "You take care of the paperwork here and I'll go throw away the trash." Bobby answered the phone. "Yes, I'll accept a collect call from Mark Tompkins. What you need, Mark? Is everything okay?" "Yes, it's all going great. Would you ask Mama to fix a pot of her dried soup and cornbread for supper? Travis's friend wants to check out Sunny Hills Nursing Home and said he would love to sample some of her soup tonight for supper. Oh, he's going to spend the night in the camper. Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate you. Goodbye." Bobby went over to Tony's shed to find Beth. "Willie, where's Beth?" "I don't know." He shrugged his shoulders. "Ask Carrie. Maybe she knows." Bobby was surprised at his answer and went over to Carrie. Carrie. Bobby was shocked at how noisy it was in there with all the workers busy at once. "Carrie, do you know where Beth is?" "She's in the house, the only place she's found to be quiet enough to look at the manuals." "Thanks, Carrie." Bobby nodded her head and left, and as she walked out the door, she said to herself, "No wonder Beth retreats to the house. These guys really need to get her office up and soundproof like yesterday." As Bobby crossed the street, another loaded plumbing truck drove in and stopped. "So, Bobby, where do you want these toilets?" the driver asked after he got out and hugged Bobby. "They need to go right over there," she pointed. "Tony's Misfit Toy Shed," he replied. "Nothing misfit about it anymore." Bobby laughed and headed to the house. Beth came back over to Tony's shed, found her largest crock pot among her stored items, and took it to the mess hall kitchen. "I don't know why, but Mark called and wants me to fix a pot of dried soup for one person to sample. Is this spot out of your way?" Beth asked the kitchen crew. "It's fine," they replied. Beth emptied a pint-sized jar of her dried soup mix, labeled Grandma Maud's Soup, into the crock pot. She added water and turned it on high. "There, she'd be ready for by supper time, and I'll fix one pan of cornbread to go with it. It won't be enough for any of our homecomers, but I can't help but spoil Mark just a little," she laughed. The head cook also laughed and said, "Knowing Mark, he's got a real dandy reason for this request." "You're probably right," Beth replied. She went back to the house to study the manuals. Ever so often, Beth would return to Tony's shed and fiddle with the equipment. One time, she motioned Willie down off the forklift and asked a question about one of the pieces of equipment. "Yes, Beth, if you start it first and then adjust here with a 7/16 Allen wrench until it clicks, you should have it set up right," Willie answered as he showed her a hidden spot. "Thank you, most good sir," she said. "You're welcome, Beth. That's my job, to get this place up and running." He turned and got back up on the forklift. He blew his nose and wiped his eyes on his handkerchief and then started up the forklift. Beth nodded her head and went over to her tool chest and took off her watch. I liked him better before everybody came, she muttered to herself as she picked up her 7/16 Allen wrench. Soon she had that piece of equipment running in sync with all the equipment already installed on the first line. She turned everything off, grabbed the next manual, and stormed back across the street to the kitchen table at the house.